right, good morning. Thanks for joining me here today on my latest beach clean adventure, which strangely enough will not be taking place at the beach, but it will be some place that I've spoken many times about in previous videos that needs just as much cleaning, and that's the road, or a roadside beach clean. Now, this is something I'll get into as I go through some of the items that I find while out there cleaning up, but roadside beach cleans are great because it's not really a beach clean, it's just a roadside clean, but so much of that material winds up at the beach ultimately. So for anybody who doesn't live near a beach, or regardless of where you live, cleaning up trash that you see on the side of the road in your neighborhood, so much of that takes so many years to degrade, especially plastic pollution, will make its way down to the oceans and then poison marine environments eventually, whether that takes days, weeks, months, or even years. So there's a lot of really great value to doing a roadside cleanup. So I'm going to take you on one of those right now. Luckily, I live in a town, a little village where there's plenty of stuff to pick up. I guess that's not fortunate, but it's fortunate for me because I'm in a position to do that, right? So yeah, let's head on out. We're gonna go around town and up into some of the hills with some houses, and I'll show you some of the different types of trash that you find that is very common in terms of it making it down to the beach. And you sometimes wonder, how does that trash get to the beach? It doesn't seem like people are leaving these kinds of items on the beach itself, and they're often not. They're running down from these types of hills. So let's head out there because it's going to rain pretty soon. That's why I'm recording this indoors, just in case. So when we come back to sort through some of this stuff, we won't get wet if it is raining because we have to cut it short. But yeah, let's head on out and see what roadside trash we can find right around our own corner. All right, well, that was a pretty good haul, I'd say. The good news about this clean today was that it was cloudy, which made all the difference because it was also very humid. And anybody who lives in a humid climate knows it just zaps the energy right out of you. So it started to drizzle a little bit at the end, but it was nice to stay cool at least, which is always important. I actually was only out there maybe about an hour, but even then, as I've said with beach cleans before, it's amazing how much stuff you fill up your bags with that quickly. And I was able to fill up 2 bags, both with recyclables, but also with just street trash. You may have noticed I didn't film too many frames out there of me picking up cigarette butts because it became an endless swarm of cigarette butts. I must have picked up 100 of them, and there were plenty more if I wanted to keep looking on different side streets. So that's a big one. And again, this is a perfect example of a type of beach trash that you see where people wonder how many people are smoking cigarettes at the beach. Well, lots, but again, a lot of that is just runoff that comes down from the hills into the storm drains, the sewers, and washes out into the ocean, comes up with the tides. Cigarette butts are probably relatively biodegradable. Not that you want them to biodegrade because they're full of poison of various sorts, but they break down more easily than, or at least, somewhat more easily than some of these plastics, which will, seemingly last forever. So I got plenty of cigarette butts. I'm not going to sort through too much. But I also had a few other items that, again, I often find at the beach, and they may or may not actually originate at the beach, which is what I think makes them so interesting. The most common, perhaps, of which is this sucker, which, of course, is a plastic straw. We still have these going around everywhere. And yeah, these, as you can see, it gets dirty. It starts to get a little, messy, but it sticks around, and it's plenty of time for it to run off into a storm drain and wind up at the beach. So again, that's something that might end up at the beach, but might not necessarily always start there. That's a common occurrence. Same thing with, coffee cups, that sort of stuff. Oh man, this bag smells like cigarettes. I'm gonna have to get rid of this pretty quickly. Again, cigarette packs themselves. Yeah, this is not nice. But this is plastic too, or it's plastic wrapped, so it actually takes a little bit longer to degrade than the paper that it's otherwise made out of. A lot of wrappers and stuff that, again, sometimes people leave those at the beach. Sometimes they just sort of wash down from further uphill. Zip ties, you might wonder, how the heck are zip ties getting to the beach? Well, they might be starting, at the yard level where people are doing stuff with fences or something, working with zip ties. Often something that makes it down there. Nothing like finding shoelace. I don't know if you can see that, shoelace, which, again, I need to do more research on clothing and how clothing has different types of microplastics, or different types of clothing have different types of microplastics. But that's certainly an ongoing and increasing issue as far as I've, done the limited research I've done so far. So that's something I want to look a little bit more into. And, that's an important point to emphasize, is that, like, it's not as if I'm the ultimate expert on all of this. I mean, I'm just like you guys. I go out there, I find stuff, I, research it, and I learn more over time. And that's what we all need to do. It's a collective effort to make progress with issues like these, essentially. And so that's just what I want to encourage everybody to do, because sometimes people think that I know what I'm doing, but again, I'm just like all the rest of you, just out there picking stuff up one piece at a time. I also found this, which looks like a air tire thing, or a cable thing rather. I thought it was an air tire pressure thing because of the little thing, but I think it's like a cable thing. So these you can find in the ground oftentimes, and if they're broken, electronics you want to remove. I mean, any type of electronic component is oftentimes very harmful. I mean, e-waste is a whole other subject, and in terms of environmental degradation, e-waste is top of the list. It's worse than plastics in many ways because of the toxic poisonous chemicals, and this goes for everything from cell phones to computers, batteries, all these items that have all these chemicals that you don't want in your local environment, certainly. So we need to do more in terms of recycling those, but also, being more aware of, what goes into them and how they can become more efficient, all that sort of stuff. And then just a couple other things, one of which I, again, find at the beach oftentimes, a pen. And pens, what are they doing at the beach? Well, they're starting from tipped over garbage cans, and they're running their way down to the water. It's all interconnected, and I think that's, that can't be emphasized enough. In terms of how this is all intertwined. I did find some bottles. That's the great thing about a roadside beach clean too. I keep calling it a roadside beach clean. It's a pre-beach clean, right? By doing the roadside clean, getting that stuff before it gets to the beach. So I was able to find plenty of recyclables, which is great because, again, if you wait for it to go through this process of, getting dirty for weeks at a time, and then finally breaking loose and of its spot and going to a storm drain and running down to the ocean, well, it might be too degraded to be recyclable. It might be too dirty to really recycle. And now it's just trash, right? But if you get them at the source, along the side of the road, a lot of these are still perfectly fresh and clean and able to be recycled. And I got plastic bottles, I got cups, even got some select beverages, metal aluminum cans, which again can be washed out and cleaned. So there's a lot that you can do with some of these recyclables, finding them on the roadside before they get to the water, that you can't do with those same items once they're already on the beach. So I would say all in all, this was a pretty successful roadside clean. I'm very happy with the haul I got. I always knew that there's cigarette butts. I haven't really gone around picking them up on the road. I pick them up on the beach all the time, but I was actually surprised by how many cigarette butts there were along the side of the street themselves. I mean, you could seemingly, if I had a penny for every cigarette butt I found, well, I would still not have that much money, but I would have at least $1. So there's plenty of those, and again, I think those are important to pick up as well. So that's just a quick roadside clean today. I have some things I want to look up now. Like I said, I mean, this is what we should all be doing as observe more, research more, and see what more you can find and more you can learn. So I'm gonna do that in regards to cigarettes in particular, but also some of these other items like the clothing, microplastics, and that sort of stuff too. So yeah, thanks for watching. I would love to know what you guys think of any of these materials I found, or any materials you found, any tips or experiences that you think are worth sharing. Please comment and subscribe as well. You'll get future beach clean updates. We're going to continue doing more interesting beach cleans like this that are a little bit different. So we'll have some more videos coming out soon, and if you just hit subscribe, you'll get updates on that. So thanks so much for joining me on this very trashy cigarette buddy roadside beach clean today. And hopefully next week we will be back on the beach itself, because it is summer, and as much as I love cleaning trash, I love doing it on the beach because I love the beach. That's why I got into this. So thanks again for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, keep cleaning, and see you on the beach soon.